once again, audience. What a freaking time. I feel like I've been so confused over the years, trying to figure stuff out myself. And it's hard, because it's like people are supposed to communicate with each other. And it's difficult when people don't like to communicate, or they get really emotional about the things that they think because they're so confident that they're correct that they won't even consider something else. And then they'll be like, okay, well, cancel this person. Don't listen to their views. Don't try to win them over, because why? I mean, the point of debate and, like, you know, honesty is, like, you know, communicating honestly is because you want to genuinely just be like, hey, oh, well, this is why this is this way, and here's this thought group, and, you know, which one do you think? And like, well, I like this one. But like, well, hold on, but this one has this. Yes, but I like that one anyway. But hold on. You sure you like that one? Because this one's really, really good in this way. I'm like, no, but I like this one. It's frustrating. Because, like, in America, we have this whole, you know, Constitution, Bill of Rights, which says that every person is equal under God, which is the most important thing in the world, I think. I mean, because if you look at Germany, fascism, not Germany now, but, you know, 100 years ago, blink of an eye ago, not that long ago in history. But their whole government, their whole thing was that government was the pinnacle, the nationalism of Germany, plus they combined this with, well, there's a superior group of people, and there are people that are not as good, so they'll be ranked accordingly. There are people that, based on their race or whatever, their you know, heritage, they're more useful or less useful to society. And then it would literally, they would say, like, or maybe Dolph, I don't even know if you can say his name, because we live in a society very similar to theirs. And the only time censorship was ever a thing is every time there was a mass doom off. Yeah, that sounds like a German word in itself. Doom off. Ich muss eine Doom off. Du hast. Yeah, so literally what he was saying, sorry, Dolph, was saying, oh my good Lord, I had it. He was talking about, all right, so we're saying the people that they thought were the best, the race that they liked the most, they thought they should show no pity at all over other people, over the people who were not true bloods, like that show, like that vampire show, only anti-Semitic. So no pity at all for these people. They literally said that. And so our whole founding document, Constitution, says everyone is equal, all of them, and the individual is the primary unit of humanity. And so it's, you know, over time, the super rich people want people to be divided so they can then secretly carry out their not so friendly to humanity agenda, which is typically get rid of all the people that are different from you, and empower the people that are like you, which could be just, you know, people that you like, or people that, you know, come from the same descendants or whatever. And that's a humanity thing. That's like it's like, what is the end game of humanity? I mean, it seems like it tends towards the idea of victory. And so in some people's minds, corrupt people, they'll be like, oh, victory is when it's only us and none else. Yeah, but when it's only you, what does that mean? And as soon as it's only you, let's say you get rid of the characteristics of people you don't like, I mean, I think that's lame. But let's say you do that, you're just going to find something else. So it's like, what's the real goal? I don't like it. Anyway, so in America, that's why the thing is so surprising to me that people would think that it was, they would throw the word fascism around, because they are somehow unfamiliar with what that term means, which is the government is the ultimate unit of humanity versus the individual, which is America's whole foundation, is all about the individual. It's not about the government. It's about the government. Historically, all we know for sure is every government has tried to get rid of their, you got to call the herd every once in a while. Right? And so we know this. But America's the only place that says every single person is equal regardless of their class. And that's the document that they literally are trying to delete. you'll see. I mean, they'll say that they're trying to get rid of it. Like, oh no, it's got invisible tendrils of white supremacy built into the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. You're like, but everyone's equal regardless of race. That's the opposite of white supremacy. If there's an actual, let's say there's an actual group of white supremacist people, I'm sure there is, and I'm sure they're very powerful. Pretty sure they're going to be completely anti-Constitution. So anyone who's fighting the Constitution, those are the white supremacists. Who's that, I wonder? Well, whoever is the loudest people on the media that say America is a racist, white supremacist nation, that's them. Has to be. There's no other possibility at all. But, whatever. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And it is interesting to watch the science of groupthink, or science of humanity. And by that, I mean the study of, over time, of like what you introduce to a population, you get them to believe this myth. Like this myth of something they can get behind, that you mysticize and you make it sound this cool fantasy story. Like in Germany, it was like, oh, we are the chosen ones, and like, our country is the greatest, so we must get rid of any dirty, impure blood and do not pity those scum. You're like, that's opposite of Christianity. Christianity is everyone is loved and equal, and no matter what you think. It's like, hey, be the best version of you can. But we welcome everybody in. Even there's plenty of religions that don't like other religions. Plenty of religions don't like Christianity. And then there's, atheism, which is, well, none of these religions are perfect. Or there's no God, there's no creator. And there's sort of like that kind of blend in there. That's why a lot of atheists are intelligent, because you're like, well, how can you possibly believe that a word that was written by a human is written by, God? Was, good point. It's a very good point. And so as soon as you're able to question that, you, let's say you're an atheist, or let's say you started out a religious person, and then you come into atheism because you're like, there's no way God will want to torture everybody for eternity. That doesn't make any sense. That's very cruel. And that's like the foundation of most of the religions, was if you ever slip up, you're on fire forever. So spend your whole life in fear. And so then you hate religion. And I get that. That's where I was forever. As soon as you're willing to be like, is there a possibility that God's not an a-hole? And then later, I think, I don't know, I eventually was like, well, maybe there's a possibility that he's not being an a-hole. Can I say Ash? He's not being because he just, let's say long-term humanity over time, if we trend towards the idea of humans are a virus, or humans are evil, they're a plague on humanity, and there are, different groups of people that are less than other people for whatever reason, because over time they've, let's say evolved and thousands and thousands of years or millions of years of being forced to figure out making shelters and inventing things, or else you die from living in the cold. Then you might be like, well, there's certain groups of people that just had it easy for millions of years because they lived in the Caribbean or whatever, and they just didn't really have to strive as hard. And you're like, well, I understand where their logic's coming from. I don't believe that's the case at all, but that's why the whole thing's kind of scary. It's like, well, I want the world to go on and be happy. I don't really want people to be enslaved or lied to, which in Germany under fascism, that's the whole goal, is to enslave all the people, because the government is the most powerful, you think, when everyone is forced to work together. Because when humans are free, they'll choose to play with each other's buttholes on video or whatever. Apparently it's the most important industry to America right now. So that sounds like that's maybe a bit of what's it called? Trojan horse? Trojan. How funny is it to name a condom after Trojan horse? Like, yeah. Hey guys, start doing it for fun. Here's a Trojan condom. Get a Trojan, man. Funny, right? Oh, it's no relation to the horse. It's a cool historical figure. Don't read too much into it. Just do it for fun. And then you're like, well, after all these years of doing it for fun, playing with each other's buttholes, here's a population, is going way down. We're way under the required population growth and reproduction. That's the last thing Elon Musk tweeted before he disappeared into the ether. Anyways, you know, I don't know. I think that the stuff I think I'm pretty reasonable, but it's also, I don't know. It's hard. I don't really attack people. You know how people attack people? Usually when they do that, it's a sign that they are weak. Or the sign that, otherwise they would be like, okay, well, let me hear your argument. And that's why it's more respectable to hear the other argument. But then you're like, well, okay, so if all the a-holes are in one group, can I say Ash? All the a-holes are in one group, and all the people are like, hey, a-holes, let's just have a conversation. And the a-holes are like, rrr, 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 rrr. And the guy's like, well, please, let's just talk. We'll figure it out. Like, rrr, 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 rrr. So you get all the a-holes who are very loud. Can I say Ash? And they'll, and they don't want to hear it, and they'll say the worst possible thing about the other group. Nazi, racist, or whatever. They'll say the worst possible thing because they're really stupid. And this group's like, ooh. Usually the group who says those things, they're just not smart enough to realize they're being used by those actual people who do that. I want to back that up with some facts, but can't do that right now. But it makes sense, right? I mean, let's say that you were one of those old school German from that century ago. You would be on the furthest side away from what all of your media companies that you probably own, if you don't own them, let's just say the most media, the most money, the most powerful people are saying, this group is where they are, you'd be on the other side. That's all. Bless your face. Outro darkness and red darkness and dark redness. Woo!